But of course, you would have had to have lived under a rock to not see our wonderful governor, Kevin Stitt of Oklahoma. So I don't know, sometime back, PETA, the animal rights group that is debatable how much they actually do for animal rights, but whatever, put up like a tiny ass billboard on a not very busy side street in Oklahoma City. It was to coincide with this whole, and I think we talked about too, I don't know, Colorado
lost. Meat week.
Yeah, it was meat week. Like Colorado, but I mean the backstory I think is Colorado lost some Cattlemen's Association event. We picked it up. So then Colorado declared meatless week. And then Oklahoma and Montana, because we showed a video of Montana, which looked like it was shot by 5-year-olds, did a video of him sitting in a restaurant and getting a giant steak and declaring it meat week. And then Kevin Stitt put out one that was, at least a little better quality-wise. But it was really just embarrassing for everybody involved. And so, not to be outdone, Kevin Stitt, of course, doubled down and did another video, too. I'm not going to... I won't show it all, but you can see, did a whole photo op, cookout, Oklahoma Cattlemen's Association. Just bunch of burgers where, as somebody I saw pointed out on Twitter, flipped them too early. They're not even cooked properly.
Yeah, they didn't look like fire burgers. And I hate to be that guy, but, when it comes to seasoning, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Kevin Stitt does not season his meat the way I feel they should be in my family and in quarters and circles that I inhibit. So they were flipped too early and they look bland as fuck. But if I may, really quickly, I think they left Colorado. It was like a Cattlemen's Association meeting of sorts, right? And they moved from Colorado because of COVID. They wouldn't let them have their meeting because of COVID, right? Isn't that what happened? We were just why?
Yeah.
Colorado wasn't just fuck y'all. Right. So let's first and foremost, these are all grown fucking people. Okay, let's put that into context.
Presumably, yes.
These are adults, right? Presumably. So Colorado says there's a pandemic outside, so you can't have the event here. The Cattlemen's or Ranchers Association was like, well, we salty about that. We'll go to Oklahoma. Oklahoma will let us have it. That's problematic considering Oklahoma was undercounting actual COVID deaths. But let's just put that aside. Yeah. But let's put that aside right now. So they have it here in Tulsa, actually, I believe. Right? Okay, Colorado, you should be bigger than this. Right? You're not the smallest party, but fair or not, I expect Colorado to be the bigger party and say, fine, you moved it. It's a pandemic outside, whatever. But then meatless week, right? And then Montana, the governor of Montana, who's just a complete, just a card-carrying member of the CDC, the Conservative Dickhead Caucus. He body slammed the reporter for asking him a tough question. He
literally assaulted a reporter. Yeah.
He decided he don't want free money for unemployment benefits because the problem is the benefits and not employers not paying workers a living wage. That's the problem, right? So he's just one of the leaders of the Conservative Dickhead Caucus. And Kevin Stitt, not to be outdone, the ringleader of the Conservative Dickhead Caucus, it's meat week here too. And so in response to that, Peter's oh, let's hang a billboard. And Kevin Stitt's response is, oh, let's have a cookout with these bland ass burgers in front of the billboard. Nowhere in the only adult's decision made anywhere in that sequence was, we have a lockdown due to a pandemic outside. You can't have it here. Fine, we're going to go somewhere where we can't have it. Right. That, I don't know. In a classic adulting, that really, fuck it, I'm insulting teenagers. In classic, right? And just 14-year-olds could have made that happen and left it there. And so now let's talk about why Kevin Stitt needs to cook them bland ass burgers. Kevin Stitt is a horrible governor. Right? We're not top 10 in education. We're not top 10 in healthcare. We're not top 10 in mental health. We just slashed the mental health budget about $15 million more dollars. Is already a shoestring, right? We're not top 10 in any metric that matters. In fact, we're bottom 10 in many metrics that actually matter. So if this is your record, you can run on your abysmal record, or you can grill bland ass burgers and lead in the culture wars. right? Because you have no adequate governing agenda for a state that desperately needs one. So whenever I see these dickheads grilling burgers in front of signs, or gosh, they just do so much, or burning
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss books, any of the absurd things they do, we have to keep in mind it's a deflection from their inability to govern. And it's so hard to be just the bigger person in the room, right? Colorado failed at that. I felt they should have. But it's incumbent upon us, right or wrong, to be the bigger people in the room and say, I don't care about Kevin Smith's bland burgers. What I do care about is, you see those bland burgers he cooking? Let's talk about the fact that childhood hunger rates in Oklahoma are stratospherically higher than they should be in any developed country. Let's talk about the health. We have some of the worst health outcomes of any state in America. Let's talk about that while he's cooking those bland burgers. Let's talk about the fact that what in an attempt that voters passed to make low-income Oklahomans healthier by giving them insurance, Kevin Stitt is trying to muck that up, make it worse by managed care. So let him cook those bland burgers. But what we need to focus on is healthier Oklahomans. And that has to be the message we put forth. Although I had like 4 or 5 bland burger tweets. I just forgot to get them off. So I sometimes feel a bigger person in the room. I will admit that. But I do try to keep my eye on the sparrow and messaging like, yo, this is what we need to be focusing on. Sometimes I fall short, but that is my take on bland burger Kevin. The bland burger king.
And I think my deal is like, I mean, almost universally, everybody I've talked to is like, PETA's stupid. We shouldn't even waste time with them. Like, they don't even make good points for the thing that they're arguing for, right? Like, they probably undermine veganism by making them seem like raging assholes that no one wants to be a part of, more so than it encourages people to like make the switch or reduce their meat consumption, which, lots of studies say will help climate change and obviously is just much more sustainable in general. We don't have to eliminate meat. You can just make slightly better choices and it'll help. But what frustrates me is this constant focus on nonsense. And like, I get why the PETAs of the world do it. I get why we sometimes do it. I get why various interest groups are out there staging photo ops and doing dumb shit. But like, you are the governor of the state of Oklahoma. Like, you have shit to do. You have problems to solve. You have vast resources at your disposal. And I don't think we should be humorless in government, I guess, all the time. But it's like, when you look through the net sum of what Stitt puts out, it's like half to 2/3 culture war crap or photo ops, just like total sham, not serious policy stuff. And then it's like 1/3 serious policy stuff that's always tilting the table further towards rich and powerful people. And so it's like, at any point, it's like, I would just appreciate you taking like 1 or 2 of our significant issues seriously instead of like always either grinding the political axe for your, very small constituency or just doing complete, utter childish bullshit. There's like zero give. Like there's almost nothing he puts out that falls into one of those 2 things. Like where it's just genuinely just like, hey, I want to showcase this nice thing that's happening. It's always on his political agenda or it's always some stupid culture war nonsense.